then why does he not create continually, since he does not depend on anything else? If nothing exists, what is not created by him, so if still one believes that everything is created by some external agent, on what does he depend in order to create? Why, at one point, he could not create this? So there must be some reasons, some factors, depending on which, when these factors are there, then he or she creates. When these factors are missing, could not create. Which means that he's not independent. He has to depend on other factors. 1 to 4. If the creation depends on other conditions, the collection of the conditions would be the cause and not Ishvara. For when the conditions are gathered, no power can impede the creation. And in their absence, the Ishvara has no power to create. So it's not rejecting the traditions. Let's not mix up the two things. It's about, say, our well-being is our well-being. And if you see the Buddha as the creator, it's totally wrong. Buddha is not creator. Buddha did not invent. Buddha discovered. Let's not forget it. He's not an inventor. He discovered the reality. So therefore, don't see the Buddha as a creator and so forth. 1 to 5. And if the powerful Lord Ishvara must create lacking a wish to create, it absurdly follows that he is under the compulsion of something else. So I do not wish to create, but it happens, which means that somebody else is creating, not him. So he has no power. And if he creates because I want to create, then he depends on the want. Again, depend on the want. So these are the reasons. 1 to 5. And if the powerful Lord Ishvara must create lacking wish to create, it absurdly follows that he is under the compulsion of something else, some other factors. While if creation is done when he wants, then he is under the power of the want. So how is the powerful Lord when creations are done that way? 1 to 6. Those who assert particles to be the permanent creator and some say, this is one thing I love about this Indian traditions of the past, is that they are original thinkers. Some say, no, there's no Ishvara. It's the particles. The particles, they create the universe. They are the creators. Some say, no, it's the time. Time is an amazing concept. Time is a creator. Time is creator. So 15 billion years ago, the time was the sudden awaken. It exploded. Big Bang. Then at a certain point, the 4.6 billion years ago, then the time, and they say created water on the planet Earth. Then 4 billion years ago, then the time, I say they put unicellular organism in the water. Then, like 300 million years ago, then unicellular organism, it developed mutation, and eventually dinosaurs. Then 0.3 million years ago, then so further mutations happens, and then the sophistication thinking arises, Homo sapiens. The time, with the evolution of the time, so this is how the universe evolved. Time is a creator. This is amazing. Okay, so if I did not encounter with the Narayana tradition first, if I encounter with this tradition where the time is a creator, maybe I'm one of the staunch believer. Right? Okay, what is it? 1 to 6. Those who assert particles to be the permanent creator have already been disproved above, while the Sāṃkhyas assert permanent substance as the cause of the world. Okay. The permanent particles. So one is the particles. They are also empty of objective existence by the concept of the parts. How? With the parts, there are further parts, then we see that what is a particle is not one with its parts, not different from its parts. So what is that? You see the parts of the particle, whereas a particle is not objective there. It appears, is simply the subjective appearance, not really this object. So we have rejected. It's already up there. And also the Sāṃkhya's version of the Prakriti. the primal substance. Rejecting production from permanent primal substance as presented by Sāṃkhyas 1 to 7. For Sāṃkhyas, the universal constituents, the sattva, rajas and tamas, the qualities or the constituents known as courage or sattva, particles, rajas, and the darkness, tamas, when abiding in balance are called the primal substance. So they say that these three things, the rajas, tamas, and the sattva, these three things, when they are in balanced state, this is known as the prakriti, the creator. This is known as the prakriti. And when the balance is lost, the disequilibrium state happens, then the manifestations happen, manifestations from this primal substance. Then the creator, primal substance seen as creator, and then it creates all the manifestations which created by this primal substance happen. It says, when abiding the balance are called the primal substance, while the imbalance is said to be the migrators or the manifestations. 1 to 8. But it is illogical for a partless unity to have a threefold nature. And these are the contradictions. So usually they come up with these false positions, and then somebody points to them, then they discover the subtle internal contradictions. So Bodhisattva was saying that the Prakriti is seen as a partless entity. On the other hand, it is made of three concepts. There are three parts. So this is all internal contradiction. It is illogical for a partless unity, which is the Prakriti or the primal substance, to have a threefold nature, because it's made of threefold natures. So how can it be partless? Therefore, it cannot exist as a partless entity. So likewise, the universal constituents cannot be. Each of the universal constituents, rajas, tamas, and sattva, each one of them also have their own constituents. Likewise, universal constituents cannot be truly existent because each of them also has three aspects. 1 to 9. And in the absence of the universal constituents, the true existence of sound and the rest becomes far-fetched. In the absence of universal, if the universal constituents, if they're missing, then there is no primal substance, because the universal constituents, they come together in a balanced state is the primal substance. Then primal substance creates the sound, body, flower, all these are created by the primal substance. But when we see that the universal constituents, these constituents, they are like illusion. They cannot create the truly existent Prakriti or the primal substance. Without this, then the creation of the sound and so forth is not possible. In the absence of the 1 to 9, and in the absence of universal constituents, which means the primal substance is missing, the true existence of sound and the rest becomes far-fetched, because there's no creator. Prakriti is absent. Moreover, it is impossible for pleasure and so on to exist in non-sentient clothing and the like. So this is now Bodhisattva's the rejection, saying that these three things, the rajas, tamas, and sattva, these three things are in the form of three different feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings. So feelings have to be with respect to the animate objects, not with the inanimate objects. Flower and the table, they don't have feelings. So the cloth doesn't have the feeling. So how can the cloth be made of these three components? Because it doesn't have the feelings of the pleasant, the pleasure, and so forth. 139. If functional things, who would have said? 129. And in the absence of universal constituents, the true existence of sound and the rest becomes very far-fetched. Moreover, it is impossible for pleasure and so on to exist in non-sentient, meaning inanimate objects like clothing and the like, because inanimate don't have the feelings, whereas these three constituents, they are the nature of the feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. 130. If functional things are the nature of the causes meaning these three constituents, well, have not functional things already being analyzed? Functional things like the flower, the house, and so forth, we analyze they're all like illusion. Because they're illusion-like, they don't exist objectively. So what can these three components, these three components can manifest in the form of the objectively existing phenomena? Because objectively existing phenomena is already rejected. In any case, the causes for you, according to the Sāṃkhyas, you are the very pleasure and so on, meaning that these three, the Rajas, Tamas and the Sattva, these three in the form of three different feelings. But cotton clothing and the like do not arise from those. For example, your cotton clothes, they should not arise from these three things, the Rajas, Tamas and the Sattva. Why? 131. And pleasure and so on arise from cotton clothing and the like. Instead, when you put on the cotton clothing and so forth, then you get the pleasure. You get the warmth, you get the cold, so forth, not the other way. Then since these do not exist, say in case, let's say that when you don't have the, say, very cold, when you don't have the warm clothes, then the pleasure of warmth will not come. In which case, the three natures, Rajas, Tamas and the Sattva, they're gone. If they're gone, then the, primary substance, Prakriti, is not there. Because Prakriti should have these three things in balance. So if these three are not there, Prakriti is not there. If the Prakriti is not there, it contradicts with your philosophy that nothing can be existent except for the self. Okay. And since these do not exist, pleasure also do not exist. Moreover, even the permanence of pleasure and so on has never been seen. And these three things, so Prakriti is seen as permanent, cannot be existent, non-existent, should be permanent. And even these three things, Rajas, Tamas and is like you are hearing something, right? Totally no clue and still something is being said, right? Don't worry. Right? Okay, so for some we have to go like this. Because? Because today is the last day. Moreover, even the permanence of, but this is very important. Why important? Is because that the say that finally, what helps us to go from gate to gate, parasam gate is not simply by single point of meditation. It is by analytical wisdom. You're getting it? Analytical wisdom. Your wisdom should progress. Gate, parasam gate, bodhisattva, wisdom. For this wisdom means we should know the reality, the depth and the vastness. The depth, the vastness, and the numerosity. It's not just a partial knowledge, it should be numerous. So that your mind should be as flexible, should know everything. So all these are the questions which can possibly come about. When these questions come about, you can start. It may be right, who knows, right? Then you cannot go further, you get stuck. But if you know that these are not really true, then you can go further, you can go deeper. Otherwise, usually what I say is that reading for example, say somebody's a good practitioner practicing so much, and then I just want the emptiness directly. I don't want to go into all these debates. Some people say like that. Somebody said that, Geshe, tell me the four truths, 410 systems, which is the reality. Then I say, Prasangika, teach me Prasangika directly. Don't teach me the others which are not real. Right? Okay. So the point is that my teaching is like the babysitting. The real teaching is the teaching of the great masters like Lama Tsongkhapa. Then you go by Acharya Chandrakirti, Acharya Dharmakirti, Acharya the Dignaga, then go Arya Nagarjuna, these texts. In these texts, when you really want to see the treasure in this text, you will come across very simple points, some very simple points. They're very simple. You just flip it and you understand it. But if you don't know how to flip it, you get stuck there. And you think that I cannot go any further. You get stuck. So how to flip it? You have to skill. You need the skill to flip this. So these studies will help us to flip the small things, and then you can just keep going, and keep unfolding the treasures in the texts. So it's so important. And if you don't understand now, don't worry. Just listen. Just listen. And what I'm trying to explain something, it doesn't make sense. Or are you able to understand something? Okay. There's another way. I say modern people, meaning all of us, they have the tendency to say that it doesn't make sense. So it's very different than saying that I cannot grab this. It's very different. I cannot grab this. There's humility there. It doesn't make sense. There's no humility. You're downgrading the brilliant wisdoms of the masters. You have no respect for these masters. If you don't have the respect for these masters, you have no respect for this knowledge. The receptivity closed down. When the receptivity is gone, you will not get it. This is the difference. So therefore, in the monastic universities, these brilliant philosophers, for example, my teachers. Today, one is like 94, and another one is 92. You sit with my teacher, and you ask some questions. I was so amazed one time. One of my teachers, Venerable Geshe, we invited him to give a teaching in Tibet. He was already 92 then. He was already 92. And then some of the Tibet house, I think, Venerable Shingla and others, they were there. And some of them, who do his teachings, then question answers, they would ask questions. And before the student could answer the question complete, and the student is lost what he or she's asking. And before you complete the sentences, my teacher you could easily sense you get lost. So he will help you. This is your question, right? This is your question. Yes, you're right. So this is a brilliance, 92 years old. And yet, the one who asked the question may be in the 20s or 30s. Right? So this is the training. How come that they become so brilliant? Because of these sources. These sources are brilliant. Are Maitreya's text, Abhisamalankara, Acharya Chandikriti's text, are Nagarjuna's text, Bodhisattva Shantideva's text, are Sangha's text, Acharya Dharmakirti's text, brilliant masters. So we need to have the receptivity. When the receptivity is lost, you can't get anything out of these. So receptivity is the humility. The humility that I'm not able to grab at it. I could not get it. Instead of saying it doesn't make sense. Okay. Where are we? 132. Huh? Okay. 132. If manifest pleasure and so on are truly existent, why is their experience not perceived? Okay. So, say the manifest pleasure, meaning again Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. These three components, when in balance, is known as the creator. When in imbalance, then the flower in manifest form, the flowers, house, clothes, and so forth. If that is the case, one context, these three are looked upon as permanent phenomena. So when you go through, for example, say you put on the warm cloth in the winter, and say because of whatever reason you have a stomachache, you have a pain. So the pain overrides the happiness, the joy. So what happens to do this pleasure? One of the three components of the primal substance. What happens to this? So it goes into dormant, but it's permanent. It cannot go into dormancy. So this is a contradiction. Why is their experience, the joy or the pleasure, not perceived when you are suffering? Suppose you say, experience turns into a subtle state. So then say, okay, this experience there is not that it disappeared. It assumes a subtle state, which we discussed last time, subtle state. Well, how can it be both gross and subtle? Meaning that you said that it is permanent. It's permanent. What is gross, it should be gross. And now you say it is subtle. So you are saying that it is gross as well as subtle. One object cannot be gross as well as subtle. If it is gross, it's not subtle. If it's subtle, it cannot be gross. 133. If it becomes subtle and non-manifest after having left its gross manifest state when suffering, these gross and subtle states are impermanent. Then these states become impermanent. So why not accept all functional things as impermanent? 134. And if the gross manifest state is no different from the pleasure itself, and then the manifest pleasure is impermanent, suppose you assert, but something totally non-existent in the cause could not be produced because of its being non-existent. Sāṃkhyas, what they say is that, one thing that we need to know Sāṃkhya is that you squeeze a handful of sand, oil comes out? No, comes out. Why not? Because, let's say the Naima, why when you squeeze a handful of sand, why the oil doesn't come out? The question is, oil, right? When you squeeze a handful of sand, why food oil, does not come out of it? Why not? Does it come out?
When you squeeze a
handful of sand, not squeeze sand. Sand, right? Dust. Squeeze and oil comes out? Why not? Very good. Very good. You're getting it. Okay, don't forget it. So likewise, say if there is a house, a person comes out, which means that before the person comes out, the person was inside the house. Yes? Yes? Okay. Very thin was very active. Yes. Okay. Let's say. So what they say is that the same apple seed. You plant the apple seed. From the apple seed, the apple tree comes out. Yes, Naima? So apple tree was in the apple seed? Naima? Apple tree, is it in the apple seed? Not the apple tree. Potential apple tree, not the apple tree. Apple tree is not inside. Right? So therefore, but if it is not inside, how can it come out? If there's no human being in the house, how can the human come out of the house? If there's no oil in the sand, how can the oil comes out of that? So, which means that the same handful of sand, so human being in a house, in order for the human being to come out, there should be the human being inside the house, yes? Right? So the apple tree to come out, there should be apple tree there. Not the apple tree. Okay, not just the potential, not the apple tree. Just the potential of the human being, not the human being. Both. Right? Okay. So this is what they are saying. The Sāṃkhya, they said that in order for the apple tree to grow out of the apple seed, apple tree must be in the apple seed. If it is not there, how can it come out? Squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Because there's no oil inside the seed. From the house, empty house, no person can come out. Because there was no person inside the house. So therefore, what they say is the result should be in the cause. Whereas, according to the most of the philosophers, thinkers, result cannot be in the cause. Result should come later, not in the cause. Should not be simultaneous with the cause. So whereas Sāṃkhya believe in result, cause and effect, these two can be simultaneous. Because the result, if it is not, result is just what manifests. When it comes out of the cause in the form of result, it manifests. That's it. In the cause, it is in the form of non-manifest state. Okay. Which verse are we reading? 136. Wow, some say 134, some say 136. Huh? Huh? 134. Okay. So some people must be going the rocket. Okay. 134. Suppose you assert, but something totally non-existent in the cause, something which is totally non-existent in the cause cannot come to existence. So, but something totally non-existent in the cause could not be produced because of its being non-existent. If it does not exist in the cause, it cannot come out. This is unique presentation of Sāṃkhya. 135. Even if you do not accept the production of an evident phenomena, still, okay, so what they say is that, it's not that with the, say, apple tree coming out of the apple seed. So apple tree should be already in the apple seed. This is Sāṃkhya's position, right? And for how many of you it makes sense? It doesn't make sense. Okay, let's say, is it true that say my hand, I have the hairs, I have, what is that? Old age marks, what do you call it? Huh? Age spots. So the age spots, now they're coming out. Okay, age spots, these things. When I was 5, I remember 5, 6, 7, 8 years, my hands used to be so cute. No age spots. But they're coming. But they're not coming everywhere. They come in some places, not everywhere, right? So it's already fixed in the genes. In my mother's womb, it's already fixed. So what is fixed in my gene, in the fetus, right? It's already fixed there. If it's not there, even though I'm already 56 years old, still the age spots will not be there. So why is coming now? Because it must be there in the genes, right? So therefore it must be the result, what is coming now, because non-existent when I was 7 years old, it is already there in the genes, at time of the fetus. It's already there in the genes. So what is there comes out. What isn't there does not come out. So what Sāṃkhya said is very true according to the modern science. No? Yes? Huh? So Sāṃkhya will be happy to drag the okay, and the Professor Victor also, right? Sāṃkhya will drag you. Okay, how many of you say no? It doesn't make it, what it says is yes, yes.
I say no because I've got these aging spots here. I say no because I've got these aging spots here in my hand. I don't have them so much on this hand. I did years of driving in Australia, and I have my hand up here on my driving wheel, and the sun shines in. The other hand, the sun doesn't shine in on that hand. So as a result, I've got more aging spots on this hand, this arm, than I do on this one. So I don't think it's genetic at all. I think it's environmental, external conditions.
Okay, let's put it like this. So one hand exposed to the sun, right? Exposed to the sun. Is it everywhere 100% the age spots? No. There are spots where not aging spots also. So these spots where aging spots are not there, are they exposed to the sun or not?
Yes, they are.
Yes, but no aging spot. Why?
Because I think our skin, those atoms aren't necessarily homogeneous.
So why homogeneous?
They're changing all the time.
This one is, so why this change happen only on where the age spots are, but not in the other spots? So this is all decided. These are all decided in the genes. Not that everybody who is exposed to the sun will have the aging spots. No, some will have, some will not have. This is all decided by the genes. This is amazing, right? But Sāṃkhya is not amazing. Right? This is amazing. That I agree. This doesn't mean that the result should be in the cause. So as this young girl said, Naima said, that the result is not in cause, the potential of the result is in the cause. It does not tell that the result is in the cause. It tells that the potential of the result is in the cause. These two are very different. Okay. So the Sāṃkhya is not letting us finish the course. Okay, where is it now? 135. Even if you do not accept the production, the evident phenomena, still this is actually the case. So we say that, even though you say that, okay, the apple tree is not newly coming to existence. It was already there in the seed. Newly coming to existence is what you don't agree, but in reality, so what you say is non-manifest form, apple tree in the form of non-manifest form becomes a manifest form. And this is in reality what we call as apple tree newly grown from the apple seed. So you are, in a way, you're accepting it. It's just your philosophy that you think that it's not the case. And still this is actually the case. And if an effect exists, if you insist that the result is in the cause, then consuming food would be right? So the result, after the food, something comes out. What comes out should be in the food, is the cause. So when you eat the food, you're eating that what comes out after the eaten food. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Very powerful debates. Okay. 136. And why not buy? So instead of buying, which is cheaper, buying the clothes or the seeds, the cotton cloth, or the cotton, or the seeds of the cotton, which is cheaper? Seeds is cheapest, not the cotton. Cotton is a little more expensive. Then clothes are more expensive. So buy the seeds, wear the seeds. Buy the seeds, wear the seeds, and then where the seeds are, cotton clothes is also there. It's very cheap. It's better. 136. And why not buy and wear cotton seed for less cost than the price of cotton clothing? Suppose you say, although common people do not see it because of ignorance, saying that, oh no, I'm not going to buy the seed because common people do not see the cotton clothing in the seeds. So therefore, you say the common people, they don't buy the seeds. Okay. Okay, that is precisely the position established by Kapila, the knower of the reality. So the one who founded the Sāṃkhya tradition. This is what you accept, and then you know that, right? Okay, common people may know that, but you know that the clothing, they are in the seed. You wear the seed. Common people may not wear it, but you have to wear it because you know that, right? You don't have the ignorance. Wow, that's amazing. 137. Well, cognition of that must also exist in common people. Now, Bodhisattva is pushing them that even the cognition of that, meaning that the result to be in the cause, must be in the common people as well. So why do they not see it? Suppose you answer, because common people are not valid cognizers of that, because people, they don't have valid cognition. Well then, what they see as manifest, okay, now they see that they are putting on the clothes, which manifest. Even that must not be right, because they don't have the valid cognition, common people, to see the manifest clothes also. So that must be also wrong. So you have to advise them not to wear the clothing, because this what you see is wrong. It's not clothing. 138. Suppose you retort, but you too assert. Okay, now listen, you prasangikas. Now Sāṃkhya is telling you. Suppose you retort, but you too assert that a valid cognizer for the common world is not a valid cognizer. So for example, the common people say that this house is permanent address, right? So the common people, you say that they think it's not valid. So they think it's not valid, so which means that what they eat, you have to tell them, don't eat food because you think it's not valid. Is this what I'm going to say? This is the exact debate put forth against it, prasanga by them. Suppose you retort, but you too assert that a valid cognizer for the common world is not a valid cognizer. Number one. Number two. what the conventional analysis sees is not seen by the ultimate analysis. And ultimate analysis is ultimate. Conventional analysis, deceptive appearance. So, what the conventional analysis sees should be non-existent because it is not seen by the ultimate analysis. There's amazing debate. So, what would you say? What would you say? So, what the conventional analysis sees, so is this flower? Hey, what happened? Is it flower? Yes. Right? How do you know that? Through conventional analysis. But what your conventional analysis sees as a flower, this is proven to be non-existent by the ultimate analysis. And of the two analyses, ultimate analysis is more reliable. So you have to reject what is seen by conventional analysis. Right? These two contradict. One says the flower exists, one says the flower does not exist. So how do you respond to this? Wow, this is amazing. Right? Okay. Mike.
When you do ultimate analysis, do you find that it doesn't exist, or do you just not find it?
No, it's not my position, it's your position. What you said is that the same object can be seen in two opposite ways. Ultimate analysis says there's no flower. Conventional analysis says there's a flower. These two contradictory. And of the two, ultimate analysis is more reliable. So all the objects seen by conventional analysis has to be taken as non-existent because these contradict with what is seen by the ultimate analysis.
Doesn't it find that the flower doesn't objectively exist, non-exist?
But these two analyses, they contradict each other or not? Okay,
Mark said, in the ultimate analysis you don't see the flower, but that doesn't reject the existence of the flower as seen by the conventional analysis. The conventional analysis sees the flower, that is not rejected. The flower is there.
So the two perceptions, they don't contradict with each other.
No.
How not? One says yes, one says no. This is contradictory.
What the ultimate analysis looks for is not the flower, it looks for the objective flower.
What conventional analysis seeing is?
The flower.
Good. Okay, this is good answer. So these two perceptions, they don't contradict. Whereas you say, yes, there's a cotton clothing there. No, there's no cotton clothing there. These two are contradictory. Whereas with two different perceptions, say, oh, there's a clothing. There's no clothing. These two are conventional analysis, ultimate analysis. With the same conventional analysis, if you talk about two opposite, statements, these two are contradictory. Whereas with the two different perceptions, two different analysis, same object can be seen in two different ways. There's nothing wrong. There is no contradiction. Thank you. Okay, which verse? 139. 138 is not complete. Okay. Suppose you retort, but you too assert that valid cognizer for the common world is not a valid cognizer with respect to ultimate, then wouldn't that what was cognized by the common people also become false? And therefore, in actuality, meditation on the emptiness of functional phenomena becomes untenable for you. This is amazing. Right? 139. Without having identified the object negation. So, now the advice given is that, so for this we have to identify what is being negated and what is accepted. These two things. What is negated and what is accepted. This is extremely amazing. Here, Bodhisattva, again, when it comes to a very fine debate from the opponent's side, explains that by teasing apart the two truths. Teasing about two truths and then explaining ultimate reality. Likewise, Acharya Chandrakirti did the same thing. Explained the two truths. when it comes to the, say, the opponent's argument against the Prasangika. So it says, without having identified the object. So this has two different explanations. I will explain this as per how it's explained by Lama Tsongkhapa. Without having identified the object of negation, for example, say there's no objective existence. What is negated? Objective existence is negated. So objective existence is the object of negation. If you don't identify that, then you cannot negate it. Okay. Say, how many of you know that I have a what is that? How many of you know that? How many of you know that I have Langchen in my pocket? How many of you know? How many of you know that I have Langchen in my pocket? Raise hands. You don't know. Michael, you don't know. Huh?
What is luncheon? Please ask him.
No, I said I have Langchen. So just say yes or no. You agree, not agree? Huh? Ilangu doesn't agree. He doesn't agree, right? Why not?
Because luncheon is elephant.
Wow, that's nice. Okay, so Svetlana, Natalia, Langchen means elephant. So I said, I have Langchen in my pocket. Is correct, not correct? Is that correct? So you rejected that. To reject that I have a Langchen in my pocket, you have to know what Langchen is. If you don't know what is to be rejected, you're lost. I don't know what it is, what Langchen, right? You cannot say yes, no, you cannot reject it. To reject it, you have to know what it is.
But even if you have a pen in your pocket, I still don't know if you have it or not.
That's true, that's true. So you have to ask me. Say, okay. Say, okay, let's say I have a choksi in my pocket. Correct, not correct? Correct. Natalia?
I don't know what you're saying.
I have a choksi in my pocket, correct?
Is this notebook with chocolate?
Very smart. I thought that she would say yes, thinking this is choksi. This is not choksi, choksi means table. Right? Okay. So the point is that what Natalia said is very smart. So the point is that in order to reject something, you have to know what you're rejecting. If you don't know what you're rejecting, you cannot reject it. You are not the legitimate person to reject it. So it says that without having identified the object of negation, what is to be negated, which is but imputation, the absence of that object, absence of the Langchen in my pocket cannot be apprehended. So without knowing what the objective existence is, you cannot reject the objective existence. Therefore, whatever is a false object is lack of entity, which is lack of entity is lack of objective existence, which is entity, is clearly indicated as falsity. So meaning that the flower is empty of objective existence. Emptiness of the flower as well as emptiness of the flower is also what exists conventionally. Emptiness of flower is ultimate truth, conventional truth. Ultimate truth. Does it exist ultimately? It does not exist ultimately. Nothing exists ultimately. Emptiness of flower is ultimate, but it does not exist ultimately. Nothing exists ultimately. So if it does not exist ultimately, how does it exist? It exists conventionally. So emptiness is ultimate truth. It is ultimate, but it does not exist ultimately. It is not conventional truth, but it exists conventionally. This distinction must be made. Okay, we'll finish this off. Okay. Thus, upon the death of a child in a dream, the conceptual thought, okay. So look, example that the flower is empty of objective existence. Then comes you get the emptiness of flower. Even the emptiness of flower does not exist truly. Flower does not truly. Emptiness of flower also does not exist truly. So example, it can be a little confusing. The example given is beautiful. For let's say the 140. Thus upon the death of a child in dream, say in your dream, a child dies. A child dies. The conceptual thought, he does not exist now. You're getting it? So in the dream, the person thinks that this child is no more. Yes? This child is no more. Say for example, let's put it like this. Say a person, okay, let's say a young boy dreams of having a friend, and in the young boy doesn't have a friend named, let's say, Thiring. But in the dream, he dreamed of having a friend with name Thiring. And the Thiring dies in the dream. So the young boy will say in the dream that, oh, now my friend Thiring is no more. Yes? Good. So this Thiring not more in the dream, is that real or not real? Huh? Is that real or not real? Huh? How many say real, Resents? Say, Thiring is no more. Thiring is no more. Thiring died. He is no more now. You getting it? So, the person dreams of, let's first put it like this. The person does not have a friend by the name Thiring, and he falls asleep, dreams of becoming a friend with Mr. Thiring. So, Mr. Thiring, that is dream Mr. Thiring. Mr. Thiring, is it real or not? Not real. And Mr. Thiring dies in the dream. He dreamt of Mr. Thiring dying. So now he says that, okay, now Mr. Thiring is not with me, my friend Thiring is not with me. Is it real or not real? Huh? Huh? It's real. You said that Mr. Thiring is not real. You said it. Mr. Thiring is real, not real. This is what I'm saying. Dream Mr. Thiring is not real. Dream Mr. Thiring is real in the dream, but dream Mr. Thiring is not real. Okay, so they say dream, is it subjective or objective? I'm asking, this is Samsung. Dream, is it subjective or objective?
Subjective.
Subjective, but in the dream it's objective. So you have to ask
Appears.
when, waking or dream. You have to ask it. Will you ask it? Huh? Dream, is it subjective or objective?
Subjective.
Okay, so the dream Thiring is subjective or objective?
Subjective.
Dream Thiring, the real, not real.
Objectively not real. Subjectively real.
Okay, dream Thiring, so say, you cannot say that it's not real.
Objectively.
Okay, see the dream Thiring and real Thiring. Are these two, which of them is real?
What was the second one?
Dream Thiring and the actual Thiring.
Actual setting.
Dream Thiring is not real.
In the dream, he's real.
So therefore, so both are, the dream Thiring is real or not real? Thiring, actual Thiring and dream Thiring, which is real?
Actual setting.
So dream Thiring is not real.
Objectively, he's not real.
Okay. In a way, what he's saying is that when you say that the actual Thiring is real, means other one is not real. This is your indicator. Otherwise, you can say both are real. You getting it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you go to shop, please give me bread, morning bread, right? Person gives you bread. Is it conventional bread or alternate bread? Would you ask this? You'd not ask this. Why not?
Because I'm hungry.
If you're not hungry,
What? No, because I'm hungry, I won't ask.
no, if you're not hungry, then you'll ask. Right?
Depends how much time I have.
Okay. Dream sitting, dream person, what's the person's name? Sitting. Dream, is it real or not real?
Not real.
No, why are you not asking me, are you real or not? Are you in dream or waking state? You are not asking me. This you are not asking, you are asking other things, for other things. Why? Okay, good. Where are we now? 140. Thus, about the death of a child in a dream. Okay, in other words, what is said is that, let's say, the person does not have a friend sitting. In the dream, he dreamt of having a friend sitting, and the friend sitting died. In the dream friend sitting, he dreamt of friend sitting died. So he said that, no, my friend sitting is no more. My friend sitting non-existing. The dream sitting non-existing. Is it what he said? Is it true? Is it real? Not real? Huh? Not real. Not real? Okay, how many of you could feel that it's not real? Raise hands. It's not real. Okay, good. So, it's not real. It's not real. Okay. Thus, upon the death of a child in a dream, the conceptual thought, he does not exist now, is a hindrance to thinking of his existence. So, in the dream, oh, he's still there. He's not there. When he said he's not there, it stops him from thinking that he is real in the dream. But both are not real when you wake up. Likewise, flower, not being empty of object reality, and the emptiness of flower, empty, both are empty object reality. Both are not real. Both are ultimately not real. Is a hindrance to think of his existence, and yet that child does not exist. That child not existing in the dream is no more there, is false. 144. Therefore, when analyzed in that way, nothing exists causelessly. Things do not exist in their conditions, whether individual or collectively. A thing does not emerge from something else, does not abide, nor does it go, which means ultimately there's nothing to go, nothing to abide, does not exist individual, collectively. So, anything viewed as truly existent by ignorance, how is it different from an illusion? So, everything is like illusion, nothing exists objectively. Okay, we'll stop here.